Hello, my name is Adam Kahn, and this is my half-assed channel. I'll start with my usual disclosure, which is I'm not a financial planner, an accountant, or a lawyer. Please take any of the information I provide as entertainment or just informational purposes only. I will give you a little bit of a background about who I am and why I provide the content, but please contact your financial advisor or whoever you talk to make any financial decisions you make. Um, that being said, let me tell you a little about myself and where I see value and what I can provide. I think my real strength is showing people that they can invest as well and that it's super simple. I hope that my inability to do YouTube videos and things of that nature doesn't distract from the quality of what I'm providing. I've been in the market since I was about 12 years old and put on my first trade when I was a junior in high school. So I graduated in 90, so in 1989. I was fortunate enough my junior year that my grandfather was getting older and he gave all of his grandchildren $10,000 and there were 5 kids in my family, and my mom wouldn't allow any of us to keep it except for me, because when I went to her, what I wanted to do was I wanted to put it in the stock market. She asked me what companies. I wrote her a list of, I don't know, 8 or 10 companies that I wanted to pick from. She looked over the list and kind of smiled and said sure, that I could have the money to do what I wanted. I remember going into a Schwab place and I had written down McDonald's, Eastman Kodak, Chrysler, and one other on the piece of paper that I can't remember, as well as General Electric. Handed it to the clerk, who kind of looked at me, gave me the quotes for where they were, and I said to him, could you buy 100 of each? And he looked at me again a little confused, and I handed him the check, and he went and did whatever he did and handed me some pieces of paper, to which I said, well, can I get the stock? And he looked at me confused, because to me, you take stock certificates and you put them in a safe deposit box, which is why I think that anybody can trade. And the reason I tell that story, now from there, I traded at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange for years. I worked for Sanwa Bank prior to that. I wrote their currency paper for a little while. And then from there, I've done mortgages and some other things. But I use that more to show people that at 17 years old, I wasn't doing the research that I do now. But it was easy enough to go to lunch at McDonald's and think that was a good company, or we bought GE light bulbs. Chrysler was a car company. It's not like I had some insight. It's that I bought it and I put it away. And anybody can do that. The things that you're familiar with, that they make good products. Now, the end of that story is if I kept all of those companies. And what's so amazing about it is Eastman Kodak is out of business. GE has not done so wonderful as well. Chrysler, when it was around $10 or $11 a share and I was in college, I sold it to buy they used to make, it wasn't a typewriter and it wasn't quite a computer yet, but you could kind of type things out and it would memorize maybe a page or two so that I could do my papers in school. But I sold my Chrysler to buy that. The McDonald's alone, though, has split so many times. Now, I didn't know better and I was all too happy. I bought it for, I think, $23 a share, and each time it split, I felt like I could sell 100 shares and I had free money. Had I not sold it each time it split, the original $2,300 investment is well over $250,000. So if you pick good companies and stick with them, and bear in mind, when I picked McDonald's, there were already plenty of stories about somebody's grandmother who put $1,000 in McDonald's and became rich and retired and whatever else. So I wasn't buying some new company, and I'm not one of those stories of getting lucky. I didn't buy Microsoft or Tesla or this one or that one that went up $1 zillion in 5 years. I bought a boring company that was already established and would have multiplied my money, almost 1,000 or a few hundredfold. It's just amazing if you leave it in the power of the multiplication of growth. Things just continue to grow over time. So anybody can go out there and pick companies they're familiar with that they think do a good job. They don't have to worry about price to earnings. They don't have to worry about all these things that everybody else in the industry talks about. Now, I'm happy to teach about all of it. But the reality is, if you use an amount of money that you're trying to put away, you should outperform putting it in a bank account. So you keep in the bank account the money you live on and the money that if there's a bump in the economy that you need to survive. But the money that you don't need, that is just extra money, maybe that you don't go on vacation with, that you think I can put in the stock market, well, pick a company, then pick a few other companies and spread out into 20 or 30, depending on how much money you're putting in, and just put small amounts and shove it in a safe deposit box or the equivalent. When you wake up in 20 years, well, some of them will have gone out of business, but some of them will have done incredibly well. You take the ones that went out of business, you put them in a frame and you put them on your wall and you laugh about it, because the ones that have done incredibly well will have more than made up for those ones that'll make wallpaper. If you have any questions, just reach out in any format. Please give a thumbs up and like the video if you did. I don't know if it's worth subscribing to the page, because to be fair, I don't know that I'll stick with it or continue to do videos. I'm just having a little bit of fun right now.